Okay, Sierra. So, you know what? You were dominating this game for much of the season. You were the new sheriff in town, after all. And what would you say was your downfall? Was it the moment Sarah flipped on your alliance?
Yeah, 100%. I think obviously I went hard this time, and I maybe could have not been as in control as I was, maybe sat back a little bit. I'm also really proud of that because it's so different from my first season. But I think my biggest downfall was not keeping my mouth shut about my advantage and then saying, and if you vote me out, I'm going to give it to you. Like, I made a really big mistake right then, such a rookie move. I regretted it right when I did it. I remember the day I found the advantage, I'm like, I'm not telling anyone. So I don't even know how it slipped out of my mouth when I was talking to her. I had no intentions of ever telling.
Well, let's talk about that decision because when the votes came in, it was 6 against you and 3 against Andrea. You must have suspected Sarah might have been one of those 6 who voted you out, but you still gave her the advantage. How come?
At that tribal, when obviously my name was read and Jeff tells me I need to go home, I looked at Brad and he gave me nothing. He didn't give me shock. He didn't give me, I'm sorry. It was like a blank slate. And then I look at Sarah and she's starting to cry and is shaking her head like, I can't believe it's you, where she was obviously playing me because she wanted my advantage. But at that moment, it was like I forgot my whole relationship with Brad. That whole season, all that I had worked on with him, it's like it went out the window. And he just...
The craziness of how this game works, because you have Ty, who actually had an idol back in the 4th episode, and he saved you with that idol. That was the night where Malcolm went home. And then cut to last night, he actually is one of the people who votes you out. So can you talk a little bit about the craziness of the game and how someone can go from saving you one week to voting you out, a few months later?
I mean, that's absolutely it. It constantly is changing. You can't get too comfortable, and you tend to. And that's just a prime example of he played one of his idols for me and then decides to send me home. It can change in a blink of an eye, and you constantly have to be working. I mean, I obviously did the damage by writing his name down the week before. He felt betrayed. They took him in. It makes sense, but it can happen so fast. Every single decision you make affects your end game, without a doubt.
Did you ever consider telling Ty about your advantage after he did save you? Or, like you said earlier, you just wanted to keep that a secret?
I didn't want to tell a soul. Honestly, from the second that I found it, I wasn't going to tell anybody. And I don't know how I told Sarah. I really have no idea how it came out of my mouth.
I think you said it was a Hail Mary pass.
Yeah, well, it was, but I didn't even go into that conversation with her. I wasn't like, I'm a Hail Mary her right now. I'm going to just throw it all on the table. Like, it just happened. I watched that episode and I see the look in my face and I'm questioning as I'm saying it. It's crazy to watch myself because I feel that emotion that I was feeling when I was telling her. I was like, shut up, Sierra. Quit talking. But I just kept talking.
I will say this, though. It looked like Sarah was on board with you until the fact that, Brad wins immunity and all of a sudden the person that she wanted gone couldn't go home. So maybe that's why she came after you. So if Brad hadn't won, I don't think she would have flipped on you like that.
I don't think she would have either, to be honest with you. That's the hardest part about those individual immunities is at that point, it didn't matter if someone in my alliance won it. It has to be you. It's the only way you're safe.
Can you talk a little bit about what it means to have a family member there with you? You've gotten to see your father, Dan, twice now in both of your seasons. What does that do for this loved one visit? Every year we see people crying and breaking down. Can you talk about the mindset of that?
I feel like I'm very different from a lot of people when answering this question because both seasons I go home after seeing my dad. My father is my everything, and seeing him out there brings up a lot of emotions. It's not that it makes me want to quit, but it makes it harder for me. Instead of making me feel stronger and sitting there talking to my dad and him being like, be tough-skinned, like, take my strength, you're going to be okay. I'm like, no, I'm not okay, and there's my daddy, and this is really, really hard. So for me, it's almost like it it breaks me a little bit more emotionally,
Mm.
where it should make you stronger. For some reason, it doesn't for me.
The family reward gave you guys an opportunity to try to bring in Michaela, and it looked like it was working. But then I guess when Sarah had that meeting with Michaela and she told her about your advantage, that's kind of what did it in. But I think that was a really good play to try to get Michaela on your side, and it almost worked.
It almost did, and you're absolutely right. I feel like if I wouldn't have told Sarah, Sarah wouldn't have told her, and I would have had Michaela. Even if it was just for that vote, I truly and genuinely think I could have talked those people into getting rid of Andrea.
Andrea does seem like a big threat right now, but I wonder if Sarah is even the bigger threat. Who do you see as the final 8? Who's the biggest threat to win?
It looks like Andrea. She's calling the shots. She's winning the individual immunities. I mean, yeah, you need to get rid of her, else she can go on a winning streak like my first season with Mike, and you won't have an opportunity to get rid of them because they're winning. She's that strong competitively.
Let's pretend Sarah never flipped on your alliance of 6. So let's say it was you and Sarah and Brad and Troyzan and Ty and Debbie. You had promised Debbie and Sarah a final 3. Would you have stuck with that?
No, I don't think so. I think I would have taken Brad and Troyzan, or Brad and Sarah.
Okay, not Debbie.
Are you saying if Debbie's still in the game? Oh, golly. I had every intention of taking Debbie to the end because she was flying off the handle and being sassy with people and they weren't liking her. So I feel like I maybe would have taken her just because I think I could have beat her very easily. But I feel like I could have, as much as I was doing in the game, I could have beaten Brad or Troyzan as well.
We have a fan question from Miko in Las Vegas. How is it that all of the girls have perfect nail polish after being in the jungle for 30 days?
That's a funny question. So I got the call last minute to go on the season. I got a call on a Friday, and I left within 48 hours to leave. I had gotten my nails done 5 days prior to getting the call that I was leaving, and it's shellac, it's gel polish on just my normal nails. But my last thought in preparing to leave for Survivor was, I need to take my polish off. So I'm trying to get my life in order, my horses in order, everything in my life in order in 48 hours. And my nails just happened to be blue from a couple of days prior of getting a stupid manicure.
Well, it looks good on camera at least.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
And final question, I love asking this. Would you ever come back again? So you played twice. Is there a third game in your future?
I'm so dadgum competitive that I have to say yes. I'm really proud of myself when I look at the big picture of the player I've become from my first season to my second. And I feel like I'm really good at looking at my strengths and weaknesses. And a third time, I would love to see the person that I would be out there and all that I've learned. I feel like I could do a really, really good job. So I'm going to have to go with yes, I would play again.
I would say even though you made it farther last time, I think your gameplay did, greatly improve this time. It's just the way the numbers fell, with Sarah flipping, that was your downfall. But I think, your gameplay was much better this year for sure.
Thank you. I feel that way too, even though, I went home a lot sooner. I want to hang my hat on this season more than my first because I played absolutely as hard as I could, did the best I could at every given moment. I'm really proud of myself when I look at the whole picture.
Cool. Well, thanks for talking with us, Sarah. We'll see you in a couple weeks at the finale.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll see you there. Thanks.
Okay. Bye-bye.